Hey guys, Richard at Ride and Zoom here, outside my garden, so not in my room. You can see the wall of my house there, and my wheelie bin's next to me. Yeah, got phone at a bad angle, but it's got no way really to put it safe. So I put it safely. So okay, so there we go. So this is my latest book review. It's basically a quick review on Tales of the Bounty Hunters. So last book I was reading was the Bounty Hunter trilogy, which was pretty cool. So I had all 5 of these ready to read. After I read read Bounty Hunter Trio first, like a novel rather than one long novel rather than a series of them. I was wondering which to go with. I was going with New Republic, mainly because it's got the lowest Goodreads average rating, so I thought I'd get the bad one out of the way first, and I thought, I'll read that alongside the Empire one. Then I was going to go with Mos Eisley Cantina, as that's the first one, or the first one I bought, because I just use my Goodreads order of generally referring to this for first book gets oldest, newest, etc. But I thought, no, I've just read the Bounty Hunter trilogy, even though there's only 3 Bounty Hunters in there, and Bossk, Boba Fett, and Dengar. And I thought, let's read this, be a sort of epilogue, and yeah, glad I did actually. This was actually really good. Next one reading, well, already started reading, is Tales from Mos Eisley Cantina. I love how it puts it in there. All books have been translated into basic, because guy at work knows that might be hard to read if it's in Jabba's language. Like, so that's been a good one. Let's start with the Rancor's Tale. I'll eventually have Rancor's Trainers or Keepers or Handler's Tale. That was a really good story. But yeah, I'll be doing that review once the whole thing is done. And after that, probably, sorry. What am I thinking? That's Tales from Jabba's Palace. The next one is the Mos Eisley Cantina. Yeah, that's why Jabba's on the front of it. So, anyway, on to this one. So, 5 stories. IG-88, one who's criminally only on the sleeve, which is fine, but the letter from Star Wars cover his head, which sucks, and this book's in horrific condition. I'm throwing it out because it's in such bad shape. I'm not even going to recycle or try selling it. I mean, look at that. I know it's a very ancient book, but who leaves? Look at that terrible condition. Maybe I'll buy a new copy. I'm going to find it one day. So onto it. So first one, IG-88. So basically these are the 5 bounty hunters, well, 6, that are hired by Darth Vader to find the Millennium Falcon Empire Strikes Back, and standing on the bridge. Only get a close-up of Bossk and then Boba Fett, which kind of sucks, because I'd like to get more of the other ones. But this basically just gives them all stories. So IG-88, basically, it's what if Skynet didn't start with, as we all thought, a master computer, or as Terminator 3 set up, PC software. What if Skynet was just one Terminator from the site who gradually started taking over? And that's exactly what IG-88 does. So he gets produced. He's basically like all creation design speed, smarter than any other droid. A robot with sentient consciousness. And it goes on. So there's basically 5 droids. One goes off in its own way to its own thing, and the others are just IG-88 basically controls the other 3. So there's 4 IG-88s. In the book, they say A, B, C, or D, or B, C, and D. So you know which one you're working with. It eventually ends with the last one. Basically, each IG droid gets destroyed, but transfers its consciousness into another one at the end. And it basically, by the end, IG-88 is trying to take everything. Ends up trying to take... takes over the second Death Star. It actually puts itself in the mind of theirs. Its plan is, once the rebellion's out of the way, it'll just destroy everything. And it sounds completely insane, which it is, but it's actually pretty good. It's a very funny story, and I just love seeing IG-88 doing all these mad things. It's just Skynet, except he gets it doesn't count on the rebellion destroying the second Death Star, and it's got presumably no way to transfer itself into another body or anywhere before it gets destroyed with that. Look, basically ends with right before the Death Star blows up. So great story, really good fun, and absolutely enjoyed that one. Next one is Dengar. Now this one actually was worth reading because it does tie in really well to the Bounty Hunter trilogy, because in that Dengar finds the barely alive Boba Fett and saves him. So Dengar is Han's enemy or rival. But it seems he's after Han. His purpose in his life is to kill Han Solo, and you just know that's not going to happen, because Han's just always along being one step ahead of him. Han can't die. Although there's that line in Empire Strikes Back when Han realises she needs to leave and pay Jabba back because they ran into a bounty hunter on Ord Mantell. I always wondered if that's Dengar. Now I don't know if there's any books about it. I heard there was a comic, and I don't think it's Dengar in there, but I just thought, could that be Dengar? He mentions Ord Mantell and looking after Han. Maybe he was there, but he didn't find him. Who knows? And yeah, it's an okay story. The best part of it is that he meets Minaru, so she's the woman, his fiancée, who he's deeply in love with in the Bounty Hunter trilogy, and it involves him like linking minds with her, and it's a really nice, well done story. Yeah, that was definitely a good one. Next one, not so much. The Prize Pelt. So I should read them. Therefore I Am is IG-88. Payback is Dengar's, just a name he goes by. The Prize Pelt is Bossk. Of Possible Futures is Zuckuss and 4-LOM, they're the duo. And The Last Understanding is Boba Fett's. Now, Prize Pelt was bad. I skipped most of it to this. So, because Bounty Hunter Trilogy did a good job of showing what a monster Bossk is, I'm sure the newest Clone Wars show did the same thing as well. Well, all Trandoshan's are terrible creatures. But yeah, this is basically Bossk is making deals with people, tempted to double-cross them. In the end, they double-cross him and he gets imprisoned by the Empire. That's it. Massively disappointing. Yeah, I skipped through most of it, which I didn't think I did never expect that with Bossk. I mean, I gave the Bounty Hunter trio to my friend Zaboro, who is a massive fan of Bossk, and he's never really read much of the EU, but I said, whether it's a starting point and you just want some Bossk stuff, enjoy. I should ask him actually if he has enjoyed it. But yeah, based on that, I'm not going to lend him this book after. I'm just going to throw it out. It's just really disappointing. It's like there's a recent Clone Wars episode, spoiler, with the character Cad Bane from Clone Wars, the recent Tales of, and it's just really boring. It's just some sort of lame origin story. I thought, what the hell's this? We want him going around, doing awesome bounty hunting missions, and we didn't get it, and it's just the same with that. So yeah, massively disappointing, and don't bother. Read it, sure, if you're a Bossk fan, but it's definitely the last one. Next one, better. So this is the 4-LOM and Zuckuss one. So basically, Zuckuss is extremely injured, and he is getting older. He needs like body parts to survive. And yeah, like Vader says in episodes back, there'll be a significant reward for one who finds Millennium Falcon. No doubt, Jabba was offering a significant reward as well as Han's fee. So yeah, that's why 4-LOM and Zuckuss need the money. So they're basically just going off, and they end up in part of the rebellion, and basically it's an okay story. A bit more grip than the Bossk one, but not the best. And basically they end up joining the rebellion, and it combines well with the story of the rebellion. So see, this book is set primarily during Empire Strikes Back, and the bit when the ships that you don't see leave Hoth that you presume did. 4-LOM and Zuckuss go there. The intention is to ransom them to the Empire. In the end, that doesn't happen, because you do get some really interesting, although fairly skippable stories involving one of the women fighters on the planet. And yeah, basically 4-LOM and Zuckuss don't get what they want. He decides to do the right thing, because the rebellion got money as well, and they save him, and he ends up becoming part of the Rebel Alliance. So yeah, good story, nice to get a happy ending out. He starts off quite selfish, but is happy, and 4-LOM just does a C-3PO, constantly given the odds of everything, which is great. Yeah, it's a good story, and it's interesting that the bounty hunters mostly don't care about the Empire versus Rebellion, but most of them don't believe the Rebellion have got a chance of winning, which leads us to the final one, the last one standing by Boba Fett. So of course, front and centre in the comic. In case you're wondering, that's Dengar with the white wrap around his head. It's Bossk in the middle, who it feels like he should look more crocodile-like, and then 4-LOM and Zuckuss to the sides of him, and of course IG-88 there, and no one on the back, just Cloud City, because that's where Han Solo is captured by Boba Fett. So yeah, we obviously get to Boba Fett story next. Now, better than the Bossk and even the 4-LOM book, but nowhere near as good as Dengar's and IG's. So yeah, we know what happens. Boba Fett is the one that captures Han Solo. No doubt gets paid massively. Having read the Bounty Hunter Wars, when he's happy to double cross Dengar, but Dengar kind of wins in the end. It's a similar sort of thing. It pretty much ends with Boba Fett escaping the Sarlacc, or Dengar finding him half dead. No, ignore that. I'm thinking of Dengar's story when he finds him at the end of his one. No, so this is well before and after that. You just see a bit of Boba Fett's story. Then it jumps ahead 20 years, and the focus of that Boba Fett is getting old. This is before Star Wars changed it to he was a clone of his dad, but he aged at the normal rate. None of that stuff, because this is written in 1998, and I doubt George Lucas was planning this back then. No matter how much he may have said he planned for everything, there's no way Luke and Leia were brother and sister in A New Hope. Same with Darth Vader was not a Jedi called Darth Vader who turned to the dark side and killed all the Jedi, including Luke's father. That was clearly added later. Obviously, it's a great twist what it really was, but yeah, you just know certain things were not planned. And that's the same with this. Like, it's a bit tough going back to the old EU books when the films completely contradicted. I ignore the stuff the Filoni verse era has changed, because to me it's totally different. Even that really cool Star Wars Encyclopedia treats that Clone Wars as a different thing completely. But yeah, it's a bit tough going back when you know that, you know, where Boba Fett comes from is different to what the books gave us. Yes, let's get to it. So part of it is during Return of the Jedi as well, where, you know, Han has been delivered to Jabba. Jabba's keeping him as a wall decoration. So you get some good stuff there, like you get it in the film when Leia shows up to save him, and interesting stuff about Boba Fett's, you know, let's say, honour, particularly his views of women. So yeah, this book, much like Bounty Hunter Wars, kept talking about, you know, Teela covering her breast, not just her chest or her armour or whatever. Seen an odd throwing the word breast in over, and this actually likes to use the word sex a few times, including, spoiler for Andor Series 2 here, basically the word rape gets used, first time in Star Wars. True, for a Star Wars thing where it's said out loud, but this is actually the first example of anything Star Wars related where word rape is used. So basically, yeah, well, I seriously doubt the actress from Andor knew that. Let's be honest, most people will have never, whether they're super fans or not, read this. Hell, I've been a Star Wars fan since '97 and only got into the EU in 2021. And yeah, only bought this in 23. Nope, 24, and I've just read it. So I'm still well behind on the EU stuff, so that's totally cool. But yeah, either way, I'll just remember that now. This is the first time the word rape gets used. So basically, Jabba gives Leia, after he takes her before he puts her in the bikini outfit and takes her as a slave so that she'll one day appreciate him. Whatever the hell that means. Obviously, Jabba, as you know, likes the female human body, but God Almighty, what's it? Anatomy? What's that allow him to do to his victims? But anyway, so yeah, he basically has a thank you for Boba Fett for bringing Han Solo in, along with his massive payout. Gives her Leia for the night, but fortunately for Leia, Boba Fett's not interested in that sort of thing at all. It seems he actually believes you should be married before doing anything physical with women, and he just, yeah, basically says, you know, it's immoral to, you know, be with a woman before marriage, and Leia basically says, so is rape. And it's just a good scene between the two of them. Like, Leia actually asks Boba Fett for help, because there's a plan for Luke to come up and save everyone, but that's the next day, but may not be. It could get delayed or it could go wrong. And yeah, Boba Fett won't. And it's an interesting take. So Boba Fett is basically doesn't care about the rebellion or the Empire, whichever one wins. Boba Fett also despises drugs, which is quite cool. So, and then Leia basically says, you're a hypocrite, why are you working for Jabba? Han smuggles drugs, spice. Yep, everyone knows that, but Jabba is like the godfather, the Don. He's that Han was smuggling spice for Jabba. Jabba controls a huge number of it, and he's like, Boba Fett's basically like, yeah, you got to make deals with people you don't like sometimes. Boba Fett does say he hopes that once rebels are beaten, they will deal with Jabba. So, yeah, I mean, Boba Fett's just kind of just doing what he's got to get by. But yeah, it is a bit hypocritical. He hates Han because Han's a dealer, not a smuggler, and yeah, Jabba is far worse than that. But doesn't matter. Jabba's dead the next day, thanks to Leia. So yeah, Boba's obviously probably happy enough. And yeah, then it cuts to 20 years later. So you see that Boba Fett's getting old. So again, this is where the whole him being a clone doesn't actually matter, because it's not like he's got the double aging that the clones from Episode 2 have. He ages normally. So yeah, he'd be pretty screwed. 20 years after this, he'd be a very old man. And it's interesting because the later books, like Legacy of the Force, much say them, didn't go into Boba Fett's declining health at all. But I like this one did, because they never said how Boba Fett is in the original trilogy. I imagined he'd be somewhere in his 30s, around the same age Han Solo. So 20 years later, he's in his 50s, so he'd be getting old and struggling, even with his armour's got away a fair bit as well. So yeah, it's a decent enough story. I do like the scenes at Jabba's palace. After all, that's why I started reading tales from Jabba's palace next, because you get all the stuff that's going on there. You know, Salacious Crumb, the Rancors, Keep Trainer, which is a great story. And yeah, it's an odd ending. He basically, Mike Dengar's going after Han Solo, even though he doesn't so much want to kill him by the end, but he feels like he's got to like beat him because they're just rivals, and Dengar got badly injured in a crash on Corellia. Boba Fett's kind of feels like that's his purpose. He just needs to kill Han Solo, and it basically ends with them prepared to shoot each other, and you don't know exactly how it's going to end. If I can read the final words. What are we going to do? Everyone dies. Yeah, eventually, but it doesn't have to be today. Not for either of us. Fett shook his head. I do not know. Trust is hard among enemies. Perhaps we should return to the battle. Perhaps Han Solo we should let fly. And once more let fate decide who will survive, as we did when we were young. And that's it. So you don't know what's going to happen, but yeah, they move on. And you get a bit of Han, older, missing his old days, missing the old days of his youth as well. So overall it's a good story. It's just a shame the book's in horrific condition, because, yeah, 2 are absolutely amazing, 3 is great, 4 is good, and 5 is terrible. As in, the amazing is IG, great is Dengar, the really good is Boba Fett, the good there's the duo, and the bad is Bosk, which is a huge shame, but, well, I'm sure in one of those Tales of books, other Tales of books, Bosk will be back. So that's it then, quite a long video, 15 minutes, but there were 5 stories in there, so it's an average of 3 per vid. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. It's just a shame it's in such awful condition. I think it's also one of the reasons why I looked at this first, because it looks so terrible. It doesn't look good on the bookshelf. But yeah, so that's it. So the next review will be for Tales from Jabba's Palace. And then I'm going to do Mos Eisley's Cantina, because it may have a similar feel. Then I think then it will be Empire or New Republic. I ain't decided which one first. Maybe I'll two-face it and flip a coin something. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the vid, and you liked the Bill-style shaky cam, and I'll see you later. Again, when I do 100 subs, I will start using actual video recording. I do it for PC, but may never happen. It's just a fun hobby. I'll find some other way to make money. So yeah, see you later. Yeah, thanks for watching.